Thanks for listening to Mike Douglas, Michigan's retirement coach.
I proceed with caution. Mike, if you know, Mike Douglas, dear friend of mine, but loves to get nerdy. And I have to remind him when we're here on Wood Radio, it's like, Mike, it is Sunday morning. People are having their first cup of coffee. Do not get nerdy and weird. Save that for your YouTube channel. But the stuff that is happening with like the silver and gold conversation the last few weeks and everything, there's a lot of weird and nerdy stuff going on, Mike.
Yeah, a lot of reasons for it. Very legitimate reasons for it.
What's legitimate?
It's questionable for a lot of people.
What are the legitimate reasons? Well, you know what?
Let me do it.
Let me not digress. Let me just say to you listening to us on Wood Radio today that if you want to go deep into the weird and nerdy conversations with Mike, be sure to check out our YouTube channel. Just search Michigan's Retirement Coach or go to michigansretirementcoach.com. We've got links to everything posted there, including if you miss any part of our radio conversations, we post the full radio shows every week to our podcast feed. All right, let's talk about volatility because this year is not changing the story much in the stock market. There's still plenty of volatility and renewed concerns that the so-called AI bubble of stocks leading the way is going to eventually burst. This is TIAA CEO Tashunda Brown Duckett recently on CNBC.
I think the real question is not knowing if it's going to burst or boom. It's about making sure you'll be prepared for retirement. And I think the most important thing is first to make sure you stay invested. Make sure you're diversified. It's not about timing the market. It's about how much time you put in the market. And as we think about that diversification, how do we ensure that there's income within it? Income has to be the outcome. And how do we make sure that you can have that guaranteed income that you can depend on month after month, regardless of what that volatility may look like?
Well, she says a lot of things that you yourself, Mr. Michigan's Retirement Coach, do say so here on the radio every week. So let's talk about diversification. A lot of us usually think stocks and bonds when we hear that, but we need to think differently about diversification with retirement and our income, do we not?
Yeah. Well, it all interacts together, right? A lot of times we try to silo areas of our life. Like, well, I have my Social Security and that's over here. And I have my pension, I have my investments, and I have my annuities, and I have these different things. Like they're all not interconnected, but the reality is they are. They're all part of our retirement life. Okay. And they have to work in sync. I just sat with some people, Tom and Jen from Rockford. We went through their plan. They came in, they had about 1.5 million in retirement savings, and they were making this transition from savers to retired lifers and spenders. And it's a very interesting and scary time to retire. It doesn't have to be fearful, but the fear and the intimidation of the markets is real. Yep. And they had the same concerns that we all have about a lot of stuff. They said, well, number one, are they going to cut my Social Security? Number two, how do I plan for inflation? Number three, isn't this market wildly overpriced? And aren't we due for a correction?
Is it not? Aren't we? Yeah.
It's so funny. It's like, you know, and no matter where people come from, we have offices across Michigan. Yep. You know, but whether it's here in Grand Rapids and these people coming from Rockford or people who are closer to Detroit or Lansing, it's the same fears across the state. Yeah. So we went through this and I understand where their fears are coming from. And Jen said, we just can't do 2008 again because 2008, they were younger, quite a bit younger, but they remember just the fear that their parents were going through and people ahead of them. And so now they're just concerned about it. Well, as we're walking through with them, the retirement life plan process is one that builds for the life ahead. It says, all right, if the market's good, here's where we'll take income and how we get paid. If the market's bad, here's where we take income and how we get paid. Mm-hmm. You can't just leave it all up to, well, I'll take out about 4% per year and be okay. Instead, you need a really detailed strategy, also with some tax planning inside of there. What are the tax consequences of taking income from different sources and so on? Mm-hmm. And so as we went through their plan, it took us a couple meetings and a couple weeks to build it out. But by the end, they knew exactly, you know, if the markets are going well, here's how we're going to get paid and where it's going to come from and what the results will be. And then if the markets are crashing, everybody's afraid of taking money out of their accounts during crashing markets. Yeah. We built intentional strategy that says if the market's down, you do not have to worry about taking income. It's still okay to take it because we're going to pull from different sources. That comes from a diversification plan. And like you said, a lot of people say diversification, what stocks do I own or what bonds do I own? Mm-hmm. But that's just one element of diversification. There's also tax diversification, income strategies. That's what it takes. So by the time we work through the plan with Tom and Jen, at the end of the process, that was their biggest sense of relief they got, is they said, all right, well, now if the market crashes, we know that we're still going to have our lifestyle we want. And it can be a buying opportunity for them. It can be what it's supposed to be. A crashing market is supposed to be a chance for you to make money. But instead, most people are paralyzed with fear because they're trying to live off of it. We built a good strategy that made them feel comfortable. And that can be you. That can be our listeners. And that's where they came in from. They come in because they listen to the program. They came to our educational workshops. And so they were just on the other side of the phone call about 3 months ago. Now they're with us and they're very excited about moving forward. If that's you and you're out there and you're saying there's a lot of fear and a lot of fear marketing hitting me, I'm about the time to retire and every ad I see is negativity or the stock market or are you sure you can retire? And that's the articles you're getting. It's very targeted and people are trying to prey on your fear. Don't let that be the case. If you want a conversation with someone who shows you the way to a stable, steady, comfortable retirement that says if the markets are good, here's how you celebrate. If the markets are bad, here's how you are opportunistic and here's how you live. Give us a call, 616-512-2127, or you can reach out to us at michigansretirementcoach.com. We'll set up a time for you and I to have a chat on the phone to hear your story, hear what you want life to look like and answer your questions and see if we can give you that peace of mind that Tom and Jen have now. So again, your retirement life plan is just on the other side of the phone call. Give us a call, 616-512-2127, and we will have that conversation. I mean, there's a lot of people out there in the financial industry that are out there selling fear. We know that, right? Like if you want to watch the news, if you want to be depressed, watch the news, right? Because it's the phrase, right? If it bleeds, it leads, right?
Yeah.
If it's a bad story, if it's a car crash, if it's a murder, if it's whatever. I used to be so frustrated. So back before we live where we live now, we at least lived out towards the east side of the state. And even though we weren't in Detroit, we got the Detroit news.
Yeah.
And so I'd be watching a football game or a basketball game with my young kids.
Yeah.
And as soon as the game would get over, the 11 o'clock news would come on and it's the Detroit news. And it was just
violence,
always a murder,
death, destruction. Yeah. I know.
So we used to teach our kids all the time, as soon as the show's over, you got to turn the TV off right now. And that was a habit we started real young with them because they don't need to see that stuff. And as retirees, we're just trying to live our life. We don't want to have this fear sales tactics coming at us. And I think there's if we cover 4 things, I would say are takeaways of how to diversify your income. Because that's kind of our whole thing here, right? Like, how do I diversify my income?
Yeah.
Number 1, don't rely entirely on market withdrawals.
Okay.
That's just kind of a strategy. Well, if the market's up, I can take money out. But if the market's down, you're afraid to take money out of your accounts because what happens if it's down and I'm taken from it? So a lot of people will use things like an indexed annuity or things that can provide guaranteed income even in a down market, and it separates it from their stock portfolio. So that's one of the things. Don't rely entirely on market withdrawals. Number 2, have plans on how to complement Social Security. You want Social Security to be a part of the retirement plan, but what happens if they do cut it here in 7 years when they say they're going to? What happens if they don't find funding options for it? Well, we need to, 1, use it while we have it, and 2, if it gets cut, here's how we supplement it. Okay. So number 1, don't rely on the market. 2, figure out how to complement Social Security. Number 3, manage longevity risk. So actually there's a study that I think we're going to talk about this next, but about longevity in people and how long we're living and how they keep pushing out the numbers. And actually, here's a nerdy thing. They say that with the advancements of AI and the ability to speed up testing, that they will increase longevity by 5 to 10 years by 2030.
Yep.
So in 4 years, they're expecting to increase longevity of life 5 to 10 years.
Yep.
Well, all of a sudden, we have to spin financial plans out to say, what if I live 5 to 10 years longer? And you've already retired. So we need to factor in longevity. So a lot of times when people come in and we run people's money out to age 100, we always say, we have to get you to 100. They say, I don't want to live to 100.
It doesn't matter if you want to. It matters if you do.
You're right. Yeah. And we're going to talk about this in our next little piece here. But, my grandpa's 95 years old and he's a client.
He's kicking.
And the money has to last. And so we have to manage longevity risk. And sometimes that means I purposely invest in a way that in 10 years I can pull more income out to factor in inflation. Okay. So manage longevity risk. And lastly, the benefit is the benefit of a good retirement income strategy, I need reliable spending. I need to know that now that I'm no longer in saving mode, I'm in living mode. I'm in spending mode. How do I comfortably, safely spend money without being fearful that 10 years from now, I'm wrecking my plan, right? We're always afraid that the decisions I make today are wrecking retirement 10, 15 years from now. We can build strategies that say, you know what, here's how we spend now, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, and here's the legacy for the people after me.
Okay.
There's good strategies, there's good diversification, but it comes from knowing exactly when, where, and how you get income in retirement and how to take away the negativity. How do I plan for the pitfalls that I know will come?
Yeah.
I know the market will crash. It's not a matter of if it's going to crash in my lifetime. It will. Build a plan for it. What about inflation? Yeah, things are going to inflate. Here's how to build a plan for it. We can do that. A retirement life plan maps out your income, taxes, investments, risk, estate plan, long-term care, all these things to know that you are going to be okay if the markets are great or if they're not. Plan for the things that you can plan for, predict the things you can predict, and live life on your terms. 616-512-2127. If you would like a retirement life plan that is modeled for you and your family, not for the financial industry and not to prey on your fear, but to let you have the comfort you're looking for, give us a call, 616-512-2127, or reach out to us at michigansretirementcoach.com. Let's talk about your retirement.
We've opened up 5 spots on Mike's calendar just for radio listeners today. Give us a call right now. Let's set a time to begin the conversation with you and Mike. It's 616-512-2127. If you're 5 to 10 years from retirement and have saved at least $500,000 of investable assets, that's where you're really going to see the power of this kind of planning take effect. And it begins with a no fee, no obligation initial conversation, just you and Mike on the phone, so you can ask some questions. He can give you some answers on ways they might be able to help you discover what opportunities you have for the road ahead. 616-512-2127. Call right now. Reserve one of these 5 spots on Mike's calendar for yourself. 616-512-2127. All right. So you brought up our longevity. So let's get into the numbers a little bit, because to your point, we are living longer. And the latest numbers about American longevity from the CDC are proving it. Number one, U.S. life expectancy rose to 79 years. That's the highest mark in American history. Also, life expectancy for women has risen to 81.4 years. For men, that's increased to 76 and a half years. The idea that we're living longer, that should be welcomed news and information until you think about how your retirement money, your income has to last maybe now 30 years instead of 10 or 20 years like generations past. So let's discuss how to build out a plan for that and common mistakes you see people when they underestimate how long their retirement might be and how we can avoid making those kinds of mistakes.
Yeah, as I mentioned, my grandfather is now officially my oldest client. He's 95 years old, and I don't say now like he just became my grandfather, but we had a 98-year-old pass away, and so now our oldest client is my grandfather.
Okay.
And if we can be completely honest and transparent, I can't believe he made it to 95. He's a chicken farmer from Delaware who's had so many farm injuries and accidents. He's had different cancer scares and different sicknesses. I mean, when you're breathing in chicken smell and stuff in very confined spaces in the heat of the East Coast humidity your whole life, it's amazing that he's made it this far.
Yeah.
And if we had talked 25 years ago and I'd said, how long do you think you're going to live? He probably would have said 75.
Got it.
And he would have been 70 at that point.
Okay.
So,
and here we are.
And we made the joke. I joked with Kimberly because we're just reflecting on him. Because now that as we spend time with him, we just try to get him to talk and just like tell us stories and what life was like 90 years ago.
Yeah.
And he's talking less than ever to us because now he just wants to sit there and watch baseball or basketball. But we're reflecting. I said, Kimberly, what's crazy is, I'm 42. He's been old my whole life. Like my entire life, he has been older, like on the older scale things. I don't remember a 40-year-old, grandpa.
Right.
He was always older.
Right.
And yet he's alive and he needs income and he needs money to live off of and all of these things. And more and more we're seeing this. People live longer and longer. And I'm grateful that we were able to set up a really good plan for him years ago. One, to exit his farm, 2, to have a good income stream, 3, to make sure he's not overtaxed in retirement. Like, we were able to set these things up years ago. That way now, and again, we set it up for him to live nice into his ripe 80s, and here he is at 95, still benefiting from the planning that was done years ago. So like this example, men, it's 76 and a half years old.
Yep.
Well, if my grandpa used that number, if he used averages, not planning tools, then he would have been out of money 20 years ago.
Yep.
For women, and there's other studies that say, well, if there's a married couple, they both make it to 65. I believe it's 60% likely that one of them makes it to 80 and 40% that one of them makes it to 90.
I think it's higher than 40% now.
It might be.
Yeah.
And again, these numbers keep adjusting every single year.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's not uncommon anymore.
Yeah.
And so, and I still have people when I say, well, we're going to run these numbers out to 100. And they say things like, well, my dad died at 70 and my grandpa died at 62. And then I always throw out the Nate Bargatze quote, which is, yeah, well, your parents smoked on airplanes.
Right. Exactly.
We can't judge it by
That's
that.
Right.
They worked in factories with bad ventilation and and especially my East Coast family, right? There's people from West Virginia. We got coal miners in my family. So it's like, yeah, we're not using the longevity stats from the Douglas family because why? Bunch of hillbillies in the mountains who are working in coal mines. Yeah, the black lung got them, right? But it's not getting us, so we just have to be aware of that. And the AARP put out an article like 4 years ago that said there's a 10% link in genetics to longevity.
Yeah.
10%.
Yeah.
Later that year, AARP came out with an article that said it's like a 62% link to genetics.
I was going to say it's way more than 10%.
I'm like, what a bunch of garbage. How can the same publication put out two wildly different reports? Well, as I mentioned, they're just trying to prey on different levels of fear and get you to click into something that you shouldn't be clicking into necessarily. Okay. So here's the key. Whether it's my grandpa who's 95, and again, my grandma passed away 15 years ago because she passed away on Christmas Day. Gavin, my oldest son, was 2 months old, and he's 15 now. And he was the first great-grandchild born. She met him and passed away that night. He's lived 15 years past my grandma who died at 80. And he, from what I can tell, I mean, he still drives. He still does a lot of stuff. I don't see him, passing anytime soon.
Right.
But I'm glad that for him, we didn't plan for averages. We planned for possibilities.
Right.
What if he lived to 100?
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't look any worse today than he did at 90.
Right.
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 So I'm glad we planned this out. And we didn't say, well, average says you're going to live to 77, so let's run you out of money then. Let's bounce that last check.
Yeah.
No, we planned for a long time. I think that life expectancy in the financial world is the hardest number to estimate. What is the crystal ball? Right? I mean, we see all the time people die way too young and people live a long time.
Yep.
Right? We do not know what tomorrow holds, and we don't know how long we're granted on this earth, but we do know that we can use good planning principles and prudent thought to make sure that as long as we're here, we're taken care of. So I don't want this to become like a really morbid, like we're dying tomorrow conversation, but the reality is people are living longer and longer. And yet they want to use these old things of, well, my grandpa died at 72. Right. I get it, and he was smoking unfiltered cigarettes. So it's like, let's really make sure we're using today's technology and today's information.
Yeah.
Planning too short is worse than planning too long. And yet people say it all the time. Well, listen, I understand it. But I promise when we're sitting here 15 years from now, you will be grateful that I built a plan out to age 100 rather than age 75. Because people come in their 60s and say, listen, it's a lot of times it's the husband making a joke that the wife hates. Like, listen, I'm out of here in 10 years. You got to deal with her after that. Yeah. And she doesn't like that joke that he makes. But then the reality is they're both alive and kicking in their 80s. Yep. And we say, this is why we plan this way. Build plans that are for your family, not based on statistics or articles. Okay. Don't allow averages to become your plan. Yeah. We don't build on averages. We build on actual family and actual possibilities. My grandpa's 95. We just had a client pass away at 98. The reality is people are living longer and longer. And as I mentioned, with AI and the advancement of technology, we're going to see life expectancies jump in the next couple of years. So not 1 year, not half a year, not 0.4 years, jump. So as a result, we need to make sure that we're using modern financial principles, new information, new technology to advance your money to last as long as you do. Don't let old planning wreck your life and your planning. Build a life plan that's meant for you and your family. If that's what you're looking for, a plan that makes sure that you are good to go. If we're 95, 90, 80, 100, whatever it is, give us a call, 616-512-2127, and we can make sure that your money is prepared for the long haul.
We're always talking about the articles that we see and working to bring some clarity to circumstances that we're reading about. There was an article on Business Insider talking about telling the story that was, there was a young woman, she was being diligent. She said, I'm going to retire one day a millionaire. Now, for this particular case scenario, she's in her 30s, so she's got a little bit of a different mindset and space than the folks that you work with, Mike, folks that are in their 50s, 60s, and on up. She wanted to know how she was doing, so she went to a financial advisor to get this advisor's thoughts, and he pointed out, he said, you got 4 things happening here that are holding you back. So I want to go through these 4 mistakes that she was making, according to this one advisor, to ask for your insight on those, and also ask how often you see the same kind of errors when investors are coming to you for a second opinion on their plan. What are you seeing?
Yeah. Well, I think the biggest mistake we see is that people think a portfolio is a plan.
Right.
And it's not. If you have a 401k and they have some 401k retirement calculator on there, they're almost always wrong. I think they're wildly inaccurate because they're too generic. But a portfolio or an account is not a plan. You need a strategy that turns a tool into a house, right? Because otherwise you have a tool in your tool belt. You have a hammer and you may even have some nails, but there is no blueprint on how to build this thing. Mm-hmm. So understand that. We just had someone who came through. Her name's Carol. She had a 401k and she'd been with her company for 25 years. So as she's coming up on retirement, the 401k was her sole investment. That's all she had. So as we kind of went through her plan, she did what a lot of people do. They lamented on all the missed opportunities. She says, I should have done a Roth IRA earlier. I should have done these things before. I still don't have my estate plan done. And she feels like she should be better prepared. But we were able to give her some encouragement that she's going to be okay. We diversified her income streams. We built a tax plan for the future. And we finished off the estate plan that she'd been putting off for several years. And now she has a life plan for retirement. And so now moving forward, whether she works to her 26th year or all the way to her 30th year, she gets to work by choice, not by force, because she understands the consequences one way or the other. Okay. As far as the story, the 4 mistakes that the advisor saw from the retirement plan, especially for the younger people, these are the things that, again, Carol lamented looking back. And so I think it's really interesting to see like what this younger person's going through. Yeah. Mistake number 1. And before I go into that, if you're like Carol and you say, hey, I just need to make sure that I've got a plan together. I just have a 401k. How do I avoid taxes? How do I live off this thing? Give us a call. We'll have a phone conversation, you and I, and we'll talk through to understand where you are and see if there's anything we can demystify for you or actually help you build a plan for retirement. 616-512-2127, or you can reach out to us at michigansretirementcoach.com. Now, going back to the 4 mistakes the advisor saw in her retirement plan. Number 1, she was contributing to her plan a few times a year, almost like a quarterly bonus would come in and she'd put money in rather than just letting it go in every single paycheck. Now, if you are extremely financially savvy and you really are doing it on purpose, this can be beneficial because you wait until the market dips to invest and you get everything at a discount. Most of us are busy living our lives. Right. We don't have time to time the market or wisdom to time the market. So what do? Just let it go in every paycheck. Right. That way, when the market does dip, you're just going to keep on buying shares during a dip and then they will run up. But she was only contributing a few times a year and you're missing out on opportunities if you do it that way. And you're really trying to hedge on the fact that when those moments come, that you don't have something else in life that comes and takes the money. Right. That's the other reality. Yeah. Right. I'm going to throw this money in my bank account and contribute it every so often. And then the washer goes out and I got to get a new washer and dryer set, or, I got a plumber coming over to fix the drains or whatever. Like, you don't want those things to rob your retirement. So number 1, just let it go in every single week or every other week. Paycheck contribution as much as you possibly can. Number 2, the issue was there's no tax diversification. She was only putting into her 401k pre-tax accounts. She was not putting money into a Roth IRA. She was not putting money into a non-qualified account. She was only putting it in her 401k. And as a result, she had all pre-tax money. So the seed that she was putting in, her money, was tax deferred. And the investments that her company was making was tax deferred. And the growth that was going to get in the market was tax deferred. So the seeds all went in pre-tax, which means that when she retires and tries to take this money out, the entire harvest will be taxed. So we want to have diversification of taxes in our retirement plan, and she didn't have it. Number 3, there's no definitive retirement income strategy, just a hope and a formula, right? If she wants to reach her $1 million goal, she needs to account for the amount of earnings, length of time until retirement, length of time in retirement, the effect of inflation on savings, an estimate of living expenses through retirement. There's a lot that goes into it. And yet, out of all that, the old saying is without income, there's no such thing as retirement. I need to know how I get paid, how Kimberly and I get paid in retirement, and how does that work? Well, for this young lady who's going through this planning process, what happens to her if Social Security gets cut by 25%? How do you live? What happens if Social Security gets cut 50%? Because she's in her 30s. Who knows what it's going to look like 30 years from now? Mm-hmm. She needs to have strategies in retirement of how does she live regardless of the status of Social Security. If it's not the way it's promised today, you still got to be able to retire and enjoy your time. So you need a definitive retirement income strategy, and that includes multiple income streams. I can't just have 401k and Social Security. I need to diversify, whether it's real estate, dividends, preferred stocks, annuities, something else besides just a general market portfolio has to give me success. So as a result, you have to have an intentional strategy for it. Those are 4 mistakes that he identified, and I agree. I think that more and more we see people say, I got my company account, I have this plan. As long as it does well, I do well. I am not comfortable living in a world of as long as someone else, then I.
Right.
I think that's crazy.
Right.
I don't trust my retirement to anybody. Like I will not allow my company or the government to dictate my golden years. So for Kimberly and I, we are trying to build a retirement that is political proof, market proof, inflation proof, tax proof, all these things. Mm-hmm. You can too. You just have to understand the strategy, know how to play the rules of the game, know how to navigate through it all. And you can live a tax-free retirement. You can live a higher income retirement. You can live a market-protected retirement, or you can be fully invested in the market and really participate, whatever makes sense for you and your family.
Yeah.
That's the goal. Have your retirement be your retirement, and don't let it be dictated to you by someone else. If you would like to understand these strategies, if you want to understand how much you'll be taxed and how to reduce that number, how to build the life you've been planning on, give us a call, 616-512-2127, or reach out to us at michigansretirementcoach.com, and we can help you build a strategy that is meant for you. It's not built for the financial industry. It's designed to give you income, solid investments, tax strategy, risk mitigation, avoid the unnecessary risk, and a good estate plan to protect everything you've built. Live the life you've wanted and leave the life for your kids that you want also. A good life plan protects all of that.
Mike and his team, they're here to help guide you through this process, because at the end of the day, the goal is that you're going to retire one time. But Mike and his team, they're retiring every single day. We're helping folks do that. So they got a lot of wealth of knowledge in their pocket that they're ready to share with you. MichigansRetirementCoach.com is our website where you can go to start the conversation with Mike and his team, or click on the links we got posted in the show notes.
Thanks for listening to Michigan's Retirement Coach with Mike Douglas. To learn more, visit MichigansRetirementCoach.com.
Michael Douglas is an investment advisor representative of Stewards Wealth Planning, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Financial professionals are not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if Michael Douglas is licensed in your state, please call 517-323-7526. Stewards Wealth Planning, LLC is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Michael B. Douglas, NPN number 9650939.